Okay, I decided to make this quick video. It's kind of a rant video, and I'll explain why in a minute. But it's in regards of Superman and Lois season 4. All of you may know by now, with whether you've heard this online or watched my videos, that season 4 of Superman and Lois has been cut down to 10 episodes. And also recent news that most of all the supporting casts have all been got rid of. So it only leaves Superman, Clark Kent, Lois Lane, Jordan and Jonathan Kent, and obviously Lex Luthor now joining season 4 as a reoccurring villain. And obviously he's going to be a regular cast member, and the rest of the characters have been lost. I've seen stupid comments on YouTube where those of you who follow me on Twitter, you would have seen where I've just posted this up in regards of some idiots have said, they should have downsized the final season of The Flash, or was it that being season 9? And then someone else saying a stupid comment like, I didn't like so-and-so character, etc, etc. This is one of the things sometimes that puts me off in kind of been bothering to make content on YouTube, where you get some of these toxic fan base that I've seen, where people just spread their toxicity. I mean, regardless of whether or not you liked the latter seasons of The Flash, what the hell's that got to do with What the hell's that got to do with Superman and Lois? So they should have downsized season 9 of The Flash with the characters in it. So going by their logic, I mean, that would have saved season 4 of Superman and Lois in terms of what they've done with the cast. Now, most of these people, who by the way are very illiterate and very unintelligent, don't do the due diligence in actually looking up as to what this stuff is going on. Now, we know that the CW now has been kind of taken over by a new corporation, and we know that now most of the Arrowverse is pretty much gone now. Now, those of you who've watched the shows in the past, with the Arrow, the Arrowverse started with Arrow, and obviously with the Flash, Supergirl, etc, etc, etc. And then when the shows ended, as each particular show ended, they would sit there and come up with a replacement show. Right, and then obviously with the Arrowverse, as I said before, dying now, and then with like James Gunn now, which is taking over the DCU, or whether it's been officially being called. Now they want to incorporate more animated movies, animated TV shows, and the movies, and they want to incorporate the same people. Like it's all in the same universe. And obviously with the Flash coming out, where they've rebooted it, so now James Gunn will get his own clean slate for the new DCU. Obviously things are going to be very different. So I always knew that the Arrowverse was gonna, it was gonna finish eventually at some point, and then not carry on. We've seen this with Marvel, where they've done their separate shows on different networks, and obviously now that they've obviously created Disney Plus, you're seeing like the Marvel shows now using the same actors, and even in animated series that they're having on Disney Plus, where they're using the same voice actors playing the live action characters. And obviously we've got obviously the various different Marvel TV shows that we've seen on Disney Plus using the same actors from the MCU universe, which kind of makes sense. So Marvel have actually done this with wiping out clean their previous Marvel movies, so Marvel TV shows that weren't on Disney Plus. And again, as I said before, these people don't even do their homework. Where obviously the new corporation has taken over CW. Again, I don't know who the company is, so that's an easy thing to find if people want to sit there and get their backsides and actually look. And people may have known that a lot of the TV shows that were on CW have now all been axed. They've all been got rid of now, and especially how now you're starting to see how they're changing the CW now, where it's going more sports orientated, with like golf and the Formula racing that they're starting to put on there, and even golf and whatever it is that they decide to put there in the future. So it's going in a completely different direction. So most of these shows are probably gonna be got rid of or shortened, and eventually gonna be done anyway. So we're already seeing this, where most of the big shows now they've just disappeared. It's not the good old days where we had The Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, Supernatural, Riverdale, even though that's ending, and obviously shows like Nancy Drew are all ending. Those days have long gone now, and I think sometimes people don't appreciate how fortunate and lucky we were to have all these shows, and then now obviously they're all coming to an end now. And it seems to be that we only seem to understand, realize how much we missed something when it's all gone. Now we don't realize, right, that most people don't realize that the Superman and Lois episodes, it's very expensive. If you look at the actual visuals, and then you actually look at the actual screen ratio where it's filmed like a movie, you can tell that the actual film grading on the actual episodes look very different from a traditional CW show. So if you look at the special effects, for example, and even the film the ratio where they're using like a movie ratio on the actual Superman and Lois shows episodes, you'll see, right, that it looks more like a movie. And if like, I'll give you an example, the easiest comparison. You compare, for example, say Supergirl to Superman and Lois. The difference in terms of the actual quality of the costumes, the special effects, it's literally night and day. Now we all know that CW isn't kind of a big network even before it got taken over. But and remember, Supergirl wasn't what, if people remember, was on CBS, even though that's part of the Warner Brothers, and I think it's put in a part of another company. I mean, one of the things that obviously when Supergirl eventually moved to CW right with season 2, they were given a much smaller budget, so they had to cut the effects, they had to cut things down. Although I didn't really see any kind of difference, but they kind of had to. And then it's pretty obvious that we all know that the new people taking over the CW, they want to do things on the cheap. So all these shows are being cold. You're not seeing any more Arrowverse shows being created. There was even supposed to be another CW show called Justice U, which would have starred the character of John Diggle with a new set of young superheroes. I think they did from the pilot, but I'm not 100% sure. That's been cancelled. That's not even getting a series. So you look at the Arrowverse now, it's effectively dead, right? People don't realize that Superman and Lois is a very expensive show. I've been hearing things anything between $2 to $3 million to sit there to do the episode. Now, unless they were going to move the show to HBO Max, and that's if they would take it, probably would have been the only way of kind of saving it. Now, it took so long for them to decide whether they're going to renew it or not, because as I said in my other video, there was a lot of meetings between Warner Brothers and Greg Berlanti's production company. And I even said that with them making a 4th season, there probably changes were going to have to be made. So it's dropped from 13 episodes to 10 episodes. And I thought maybe, you know, with it losing 3 episodes, that's probably the small sacrifice it was going to make. You know, I was really just losing 3 episodes. But obviously we've heard that most of the supporting casts are all going to be got rid of, which for me I definitely don't agree with, because there was some characters where, to me, not say they didn't work, but I preferred over certain other characters. But I liked characters like Henry and his daughter Natalie, and Lana. And it was really great seeing the other and then General Lane, and then seeing him change and kind of soften up. And I liked those actual characters in the actual show, and it's a real shame they're having to get rid of them. But you know, it's pretty obvious that they're doing this for budgetary reasons. Obviously, they've probably been told, okay, you can have a 4th season, but the sacrifice is that we're going to give you a smaller budget to work on. So that's going to mean, okay, we have to cut back on episodes, right? Then it's going to mean, okay, now we're going to have to sit there and cut back on cast members to save money, because obviously you're paying the actual actors to star in a particular episode, in the actual season. So that's what was going to happen. And for some of these stupid idiots to sit there to start making this silly comment, Beano talks, they should have got rid of Flash, they should have downsized Flash. This just shows you how toxic people can be. And this is why sometimes when I do videos, I kind of hold the comments for reviews, or I disable it, because when you've got people who are actually using their brain, being sensible, and then actually making constructive criticism by using their noggin, using their brain, to me that's totally fine. But it's when you see this complete toxicity, because half these people just probably sit in their basement of their mum's house, sit in their little chair, going, sitting there thinking, oh, you know, I could write an episode. I could do special effects and do this stuff, and blah blah blah. And then they sit there and they don't, and they think they're experts in writing, doing CG, or even realizing that that shows do have a budget. Again, I don't agree with what they did. Most people don't even realize that with most shows, that what they do is that they actually save money on the budget that they're given for that season. By, you know, some episodes they kind of don't hardly, they call them filler episodes. Even though I don't even like that term, and they do that just simply because that they can save the budget. So if they're doing a bigger episode or a big finale, that they can go bigger and better on that particular episode. And it just shows you, as I said before, how sometimes people can sit there in their own comfort of their own home, sitting there just being completely toxic in their kind of behaviour, and the amount of stupidity that comes out of these people's mouths, where they speak before they even think. And it's kind of a real shame that people are just absolutely dumb, where they don't actually use intelligence, do the research and the due diligence to find out why something is done in a certain way, or what something is going on, even if you don't agree with it. Because as I said before, I'm explaining as to why certain things are done, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I actually agree with the way they went about it, because I totally disagree with it. Can it by 3 episodes? Yeah, you can kind of live with that. It's only 3 episodes. But to get rid of the rest of the cast, I think it's kind of a bit disgraceful, in my honest opinion. And then I see this with movies where people are just being completely toxic and being hateful. And I think this is the problem with movies and TV shows, where people, and even video games now, where you see it with Starfield, where people, instead of sitting there and taking the actual enjoyment of these actual TV shows, where we live in a day and age now where you can buy TV shows, whether it's in the physical media or the various amount of different streaming services that are available, where we can sit in the comfort of our home without having to leave our armchair, and being able to watch TV services with, obviously, as long as you've got good internet. And we don't realise kind of how fortunate we were. I mean, that's what in the UK, I remember when we were limited by the amount of channels that we had, with the terrestrial channels that we had in the UK. And then when we wanted to see imported TV shows, you had to hope and pray that a UK channel would buy the channels, would buy the particular TV shows, so that you could watch them. I mean, this was back even in the day, even before we even had the internet, to the way it is now. And I think sometimes people are just completely, we're just utterly spoiled, I think, and we don't realize kind of how fortunate and how lucky we are to be in this day and age of, you know, of multiple channels and streaming services, and being able to buy TV shows, and even share streaming services with other family members, or watch things on the go, where now you're not just limited by, you know, watching TV shows on your TV. Now you can watch it on your iPad or your or a smart device. If you've got roaming mobile net, you can watch it while you're on the bus or on the tube or wherever you are, or even if you're on you're traveling somewhere, or you're sitting in a park. You can, if you've got like a laptop or a iPad or a smartphone of any kind, you can actually watch your TV show sitting in our park on a nice hot summer's day. So people don't realise how lucky we are. And I don't know, maybe it's because of the youth of today why people are kind of like this, but to me, when you see these toxic, silly comments that people post on social media, it really does take, you know, for me, it's kind of really off-putting, and think to myself, why the hell do I bother creating stuff as a YouTuber, right, when you're just going to see people just zapping out all the fun out of everything these days. And I just find it absolutely kind of disgusting, right, with these stupid adolescent, well, maybe they are, idiotic comments from people in terms of the way they kind of behave. But yeah, you just ruin the fun for everyone else. And as I said before, I mean, whether it's the TV shows, movies, or the gaming now, which we're seeing every single week, really sick or tired of these toxic people. It's zapping the fun out of everything. So anyway, that's my rant over.